everyone, just a classic from Alice in Chains, and it's one of those songs I always wanted to learn and kind of had in the back of my mind to do. So as always, I've got my notes linked right below the video so you can download those. This tune is tuned down a half step, so tuned to E flat, and you'll have everything set up to do it. I'm using a chorus. I like analog. My rate is set. This is a TC Electronics Afterglow. The rate is set just about 12:30, 1 o'clock if you're looking at it as a clock dial. Depth about 11 o'clock and the mix about 1 o'clock. That'll help you. And then I've got my wah, which you want to, really, Jerry doesn't do wah wah and just keep going up and down. He uses it to emphasize the notes and so forth. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the notes that you hear under the chords as the song progresses that basically everybody ignores. But if you have two guitarists, it'd be great to do. So we'll go through all of that. I've written it out, and we'll get into the lesson. This song is based off two chords for the intro and the verse. F sharp, okay, we're tuned down to half step, don't forget that, and A. And we're going to lift off our first finger with both of those. Alright, so our strumming, of course, the chorus really gives this that ambiance. We want to hit the F sharp twice, the full chord, then lift off, and these are downstrokes. And then we're going to hit two more times, basically to the third string. We're not going to hit the whole chord. And then we're going to do a down up after that. Alright, so we have this slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we move up to our A and do the exact same thing. Then we move back. Alright, so it's a back and forth from F sharp to A twice is a measure. We do that 8 times for the intro. Then we start the verse. Technically the verse will go for 8 times also, verse 1. And then we're into the chorus. But at the beginning of verse 1, when we come back to that F sharp, after the 8th time, you'll hear just this lick. Alright, turned off the wah, it gets a little annoying, but it gives you the idea. What we're going to do, second string 5, hammer down to 7, and then hit the third string at the 6th fret. And just let that ring, alright? So basically then, as he's singing, you'll hear different feedbacks, and it's kind of between an F sharp on the, which we did an F sharp here on the 3rd string. Okay, so I'm not going to do the feedback, but anyhow, you'll hear some feedback going on in the background as they're doing the verse. And then after they get through the second measure of the verse, we'll hear lick 2 that starts and continues through measure 3 and 4. So from measure 3 towards the end, the F sharp into the A, you'll hear this lick. Again, it has the wah, but I'm not putting the wah on. So what we're doing for this lick is basically walking down from this C sharp to C and B note to A note on the 5th string. Then we grab the 2nd fret of the 6th string, F sharp, and then hit the octave on the 4th string, 4th fret. Then when we that takes up our F sharp. Then when we come into the last A of the third measure, we'll kind of outline an A. So what we're doing is the open 5th string to the 4th fret of the 4th string and then 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Little vibrato on that 2nd string, and then you'll hear this like. And that 7 is held. So what we're doing, we're back at the 5th position. We're going to start out on the 2nd string from 5, hammering into 7, catching 5 on the 1st string, back to 7 on the 2nd, like I said, with vibrato. And that will lead us into the chorus. So chorus 1 begins clean, and chorus 1 is the only time it's clean. The rest of the choruses 2 and 3 are distorted, but playing the same thing. So I should also mention, in addition to chorus and the wah, I'm using my rhythm pickup, or the neck pickup. It's set at about 1.5, so it's giving more of a clean tone versus when I put it down into the bridge pickup, which gives me, it's full out, gives me the distortion of the amp. So I'm just cleaning it up with the pickups. So the chorus starts out, we're going to go from B up to D. And the pretty much power chords. A B, he'll hit it as a full chord and then strum it another 5 times. Right? And then we move up to the D, and that's a full 8 times. We come back up to our F sharp, and we're going to hit the open E, hammer into the chord. And then we lift off, back on, lift off, back on. And back off. So it's really a down, up, down, but you're lifting off with that first finger. Then we put it back down and we'll strum it 4 times before we move to a B. Now this B, another thing I want to point out, he keeps that F sharp note in the B. So just move your finger down, keep that F sharp there. You got a B note on the 5th string, and then your 4th fret will be covered by your ring finger. And then back to the F sharp. Alright, so we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come back up to that intro rhythm of the chorus. And then we go to the distorted part. So let's take the distorted part in section so I can explain some of the little nuances he does. The first part will sound like this. Alright, I'll just stop there. So what we're doing is we're going to hit the open 6th string, hammer into our F sharp, but we want to keep the chord lifted up so the 1st and 2nd string ring out. And to let them ring, you're going to upstrum on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string. Then you go into an A power chord and then walk down from there on the 5th string from the 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret back to an A. Alright, so let's do it to that point. 1, 2, 3, 4. At this point, we've hit the A power chord. The next chord we hit will be another F sharp with our finger lifted up so we can hit that first and second. There's no E, all right? So we're going. So it goes right from the A to F sharp, okay? In the second half of the measure. So that's a quarter measure. For the next quarter measure, what we're going to do off of that A, come right to our F sharp with the open first and second string. All right, so I'll finish from the first quarter. Then we come back to an A. And then we're going to hit A again, but we're going to add our pinky down on the 5th fret of the first and second string, making that A a little different. And then it repeats. Alright, so I'm going to do the whole thing as the second repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. That takes us into the interlude. So for the interlude, what we're going to do is octaves. So we'll be on the 6th string and the 4th string. That's where I noticed Jerry plays these. Alright, we're going to start out on a B octave. So to be on the 7th fret of the 6th string and 9th fret. We always follow 2 frets below, or ahead on the 4th string. So we're going to go, we'll hit the B, come back to a B flat, all right, and then back to B, and then to C sharp. We'll hit C sharp again. Then we come back to our B and up to C sharp. And then we slide it and come back to this B flat. And then F sharp, and then 2 E's, just plain old E's. Alright, so we have this slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll repeat. Go through 1/2, so basically up to the C sharp. Then what Jerry does live, it's in the recording, but it's a second guitar and it's kind of buried in the mix. So if you have a second guitar, you can do this, or you can just do this if you're playing it by yourself. We're going to move up to the 12th fret. All right, this will be an E. Then we go up to F sharp. Back to E and then F sharp. All the way up to A, it's 17 and 19. And then F sharp to E twice. Alright, so that very last one. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're back into the chorus 2, which is distorted. Alright, so let's go over chorus 2 that's distorted because it follows basically chorus 3 the same way. It's more palm muted on the B to D. Then we come back up to our B and D. And then what we already know is the heavier part. So the other thing I want to mention, at the end of chorus 2, which I said is all distorted, you'll hear him go into an F sharp power chord. Just let that ring through when verse 2 kicks in with the cleaner guitar. So we have, let's just do the last half measure of it. So that we're into verse 2. Now during verse 2 I wrote it out. When we get up to the second time of doing the A power or the A chord and then lifting off, we have another lick. And that lick is distorted, and it's basically the first string 12 to 9 back to 12. He'll let that ring, and then we go up to 14 pulled off. So he lets that ring, and then we go to 14 on the first string, and then hit 12 again with vibrato. Then you'll hear him do this. So we kind of moved up to the 12th position when we pull off, not pull off, but hit 14 to 12. What you want to do is move up to 14th position then, second string at 14. Then you're going to hit the third and second string at 14 before quickly hitting 16 on the fourth string. And that 16's held. And then you'll hear him do, it's kind of the bass and so forth, do that part. But then you'll hear this lick underneath. Again, it's distorted. So basically we're on the 4th string, 14th fret, we'll hit 14 to 16, come down to the 3rd string at 14, back to 16 on 4. Then we just lay our finger down, catch 16 on the 3rd string, back to 16 on the 4th, and then 14 on the 3rd string, back to 16, and start again. Alright, so it'll sound like this, one time through. Again. He stops on that 14 on the 3rd string. Second time through, then catches 14 on the 2nd string. And then up to 17. Alright, so that's, like I said, lick 3, again with a little bit of wah. And it starts with the last section of the first measure of the chorus, kind of continues on, and then we're into chorus 3, which is distorted. Alright, we've already learned that. And then what we do, again, this has the ring out. While we're doing verse 3, which again is clean, we'll have another lick, and verse 3 is only 2 measures, and that's the end of the song. Alright, so if you're playing clean, you're just going to do 2 measures of it. If you have another guitar, you'll hear this last lick. Alright? So what we're doing is hitting the first string 16 to 17. Some vibrato, and then we're going to hit 16 with a bend and release, and then hit 14. And that's the last lick you'll hear. And the song ends. So I really hope this helps everybody. Again, my notes right below the video. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. It's really a cool song to play along with, so enjoy.